You're listening to Just Hit Play with your hosts, Peter and Nick Cabral. If you're tired of your stagnant, streamed music feed, then strap yourselves in for an intergenerational sonic journey through Peter and Nick's favorite songs.
Welcome to episode 94 of Just Hit Play. I'm your host, Peter. With me is my co-host, Nick. Nick, how you doing today?
Doing well. It's been a nice time for me, nice last week, and the weather's starting to get really nice again as well, so spirits are high, definitely.
And you're recording this on your Friday night. Do you have plans for tonight after this?
After this, I'm going to throw on the Boston Celtics playoff game against the Philadelphia 76ers.
Okay.
Have a couple beers and enjoy my night. I do work tomorrow morning, so
right. Okay.
Can't do anything too exciting.
Yes. I photographed a wedding yesterday, so my day today is pretty much just organizing images and doing some editing. That's pretty much what I'm got planned for the rest of today.
Nice. That sounds like a chill day, task.
And I'm photographing. There's an app here in Australia. I don't know if it's anywhere else. It's called Airtasker, where you can put your services up and people hire you. For me, it's photography, and I'm photographing a church service tonight. I haven't been to church in a very long time. And it's a Portuguese mass as well. So I don't know if it's a Catholic. I don't think it's Catholic. So I think they hired me specifically because on my profile, I said I speak Portuguese and English. So I think they hired me specifically because I said I speak Portuguese. So I'm very curious to see what kind of church service it is. So they haven't said if it's Catholic, and I don't think it is. So let's see how that goes tonight.
All right. Interesting. Keep us updated on that, your journey to the Portuguese church.
Yeah. So that'll be really interesting. So that's my job for later tonight. And in our Brisbane studios is our sound engineer, Darren. Darren, how you doing?
I'm doing good.
Cool. Are you ready to get into some music?
Yes, I am.
All right. Now, Nick requested that I play him some of the songs that I've been listening to from newer artists, not from the 60s, 70s, or 80s, or 90s, but some of the newer stuff that I've been listening to. And so we're going to listen to a little bit Art versus Science and Parlez-VOUS Français, which is a very interesting song that came out in, I think it was 2008 it came out. Sorry, 2009 the song came out. So it's not relatively new, but it's not from the 80s.
Newer.
Yeah, newer.
It's newer.
So let's listen to a little bit of Art versus Science. Darren, just hit play.
The Champs-Élysées is a busy street. We getting down with everyone we meet. If you understand, then listen to me. S'il vous plaît, ma chérie, allez tomber la chemise. Parlez-vous français? Parlez-vous français? Si tu peux le parler, allez tomber la chemise. Parlez-vous français? Parlez-vous français? Si tu peux le parler.
So that was Parlez-VOUS Français by Art versus Science. So Nick, let's get into it. What did you think of the song?
You know, a big part of me really wants to like this song a lot, but I don't know. There's something about it that just never really stuck with me or took hold of me.
Right.
And I think it all comes down to like this feeling I have that this song boils down to like a gimmick. It's like a gimmicky sort of song.
It feels gimmicky to you. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's the feeling I can't shake. And I have to say, I love the instrumental. Like, I think it's really good. It's really groovy and vibey. There's some excellent sections of it. But it just loses me in, like, the vocals, everything about that. And I understand what they're going for. I totally get it. I get the bit. It's just not for me. I don't really enjoy it. It doesn't hold up on like a lot of repeated listens for me, unfortunately.
No, that's right. So this song came out in 2008, February 2008. I had just recently moved to Australia, probably been here for about 6 months. And when I first heard the song on Triple J, we've talked about Triple J before on other episodes of this podcast, I can honestly say I'd never heard a song like it. I think what I really love about the song is the groove. I think once that groove hits, and I got you to watch a live version of the song too, and we'll talk about that in a second. I think that groove is absolutely fantastic, and that's why I like the song. I can see what you're saying with it's a little bit gimmicky with the French and stuff like that, but that groove is fantastic.
Yeah, and I don't think there's any doubting that. Like, it's a fun song for sure, and the groove is great. Like, I really want to make sure I get that across. Like that, the song does that really well. Just the other stuff. It's like, I don't know, and I think it would be really fun to listen to live. And it looked like all those people that were there at the concert were having a really fun time. Band put on a great show, and I think that speaks to like the musical strength of the song for sure. Like it's a really well made song from a musical standpoint.
Yeah. So I got Nick to watch a live version of this song. And doing research for this song, I had never seen that live version before. And as I was doing research, I came across it. And I really like the live version. It's not a lot of times a band can perform a song live as well as they do in the studio. And I thought Art vs. Science really performed it live well. And when that groove hits, you can tell how much fun people are having in the audience. So that's one of the reasons why I wanted to watch it. Wanted you to watch that live.
Yeah, it felt like something that was a really big build-up moment for everyone in the crowd, right? Like, I'm assuming this is probably their most popular song or like their biggest song.
Yes. This was number 2 on Triple J has a top 100 every year. I think so. In 2008, this was number 2 that year.
Okay. So yeah, I'm sure this was like the big show-stopping song that like a lot of people were really excited to see and looking forward to. And you can just tell like when the song starts and gets going, like everyone in the crowd has that moment of like, oh yes, here we go. It's time for Parlez-vous Français.
Yeah.
And that's a moment that I really enjoy at a concert, when a crowd is like collectively just like gasping and like, oh my God, here it is. It's time to go. This is the song. I think that's a really special thing where everyone in the room has that unspoken shared feeling. And it's really evident in this performance. And it's just really cool when a band can cultivate that and meet people's expectations and deliver. It's like you said, not easy. Not everyone can do it.
No. The two members met at a Daft Punk show. So I think that sort of goes into kind of what the music sort of sounds like. It sounds like a rock and roll version of Daft Punk, I think.
Yeah, that's actually really cool. That's a great fact. I love Daft Punk. Are you a Daft Punk fan?
Yeah, love them. Yeah.
Yeah, one of my most prized vinyl records is Discovery. I love that album so much. They're wonderful. And yeah, like now that you mention it, I can hear that influence a little bit in the song. You can definitely tell they're fans of that electronic sort of music, but obviously it's rocky still.
Yeah. Obviously this isn't a Daft Punk episode, but I've heard rumors that Daft Punk have been playing 2 shows on 2 different continents at the same time. Now, if you're not a Daft Punk fan, they wear masks during their show. So they're 2 French DJs. But I guess anyone could be doing a Daft Punk show because you don't actually know what any of the members look like. So there has been reports that, there was a show going on at the same time in 2 very different places that they could not conceivably have done. So we'll just leave that fact out there.
We'll do a Daft Punk episode at some point, and we'll expand on that.
Yeah, we love Daft Punk. So the name Art vs. Science. So how they came up with that name is 2 of the members were in university, and one was doing an arts degree, and one was doing a science degree. So I think that was pretty clever how they came up with an Art vs. Science name. Yeah,
that's cool. And honestly, I figured it had to be something like that to inspire the name, but in general, I really like that name and that whole concept of the dichotomy between art and science, because you normally think of those as 2 like opposing things, 2 opposing ideals or fields or what have you. But I'm someone that obviously I've been studying like STEM for a while. I'm in healthcare. I'm in a science heavy field. That's what I want to do for my career. But I'm really passionate about arts, whether it be visual arts, like paintings, art galleries, museums, what have you. I love all that. I love music, obviously, movies, all of that.
Sure,
really big parts of who I am. And so I think it's cool that just the name pays homage to that. Something we typically think of as a conflict, but merging it together.
Yeah, exactly. I'm the same. I love science, but I also love art. I'm a photographer, so one of my jobs is to be in the arts. So I also like the name. The other thing I wanted to talk about was the French aspect of the song. So when they were writing the song, they were asking some of their French. They're from Sydney, by the way, Sydney, Australia. So they were asking some of their French friends what they thought of the song. Were they getting the grammar right? Was this insulting to French people? And all their French friends were saying, no, it's fine. The grammar's fine. It's cool, whatever. And then they played the song in Paris, and all the Parisians were like, what are you doing? Are you making fun of us? Like, this is awful. And they're like, but no, it's an homage to the another French word. It's an homage to the
Nice.
to the French people. And yeah, so I think there might have been some difficulties there with the Parisians. And Parisians are a little stuck up at times. I don't know if you know that, but you've been to Paris, so you probably do know that.
Yeah, they can definitely be a little snooty, we can say. As you said, I have been to Paris, and I sort of experienced it firsthand, but not really. The snobbiness, that is.
Yeah.
So I went. My dad's partner Sylvie came with us to Paris, and Sylvie is French Canadian. She speaks excellent French, very fluent.
Well, her job is as a translator.
Exactly.
In French, yeah.
Yeah. So she was speaking French to a server at a restaurant in Paris. And when she started speaking French to this guy, you could just see his expression change, a little bit of a scowl.
Right. The disdain?
A little bit of disdain. Like, it was a scowl mixed with a smirk, and his like upper lip turned up a little bit, and he said, Québécois? And like kind of just dismissed
Right.
or snubbed her for just speaking French with a Canadian accent, I guess. I don't know. It was pretty wild because it's the same language, but to them it's not.
Yeah, no, it's exactly right. They're so protective of their language, yet try to colonize the world. So I don't understand what they want. That's bizarre to me.
Yeah, and I think protective is a good way to put it. Like, French people obviously do have or can have a perception of being snobby or stuck up, but I definitely do think it comes from that place of being proud and protective of their culture and history and all these things. Unfortunately, I think it comes off like that snobbiness a lot of the time, but I guess it does come from a place of like, we're really proud of who we are, of being French. But you don't have to be a jerk to French Canadians about it,
And we have listeners from Paris. So hello, listeners from Paris. I've always wanted to go to Paris, so I can't wait to go and check out your art galleries and go to the Eiffel Tower. Apparently, it's a tourist trap, but I'm willing to check it out and ignore the touristy trap part of it.
Honestly, don't buy into the tourist trap allegations. The Eiffel Tower it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
Okay.
It's worth going to.
Well,
I didn't feel trapped at any point, although some may disagree. I don't know.
Well, Angie, my partner, she's an art history major, so she studied art in university. So we have to go because apparently they have some nice pieces at the Louvre. I've heard. I don't know if those rumors are true. So I guess we got to go check those out.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah, I've heard it's pretty good.
Going to the Louvre was probably the best thing I did in France. It was it was really spectacular. It's a spectacular place. I could easily do another full day there. If I were to go back to France, that would be like top of my list, is go back to the Louvre. I had such a wonderful time while I was there. So you definitely got to make it at some point.
It's funny we're having this French debate because a listener to the podcast sent me a reel on Instagram about an American in Paris, which I found very funny, and how they were making fun of him, asking him if he needed directions to the McDonald's, and if he needed to go to the Louvre, and he was very insulted by it. So I thought that was pretty funny that I got that today, and we're talking about Paris today too. So that's cool.
Yes, yeah, it's too bad the song didn't play well in Paris, but
yeah,
I can't say I'm altogether too surprised about it.
How about you, Darren? Have you heard the song before, and what were your thoughts?
I would have heard it at the time, but I never really remembered it because, it's not really for me.
Cool. Yep, so that was Art versus Science and Parlez-vous Français. Let's get to Chvrches with a V next. That's your song that you got me to listen to this week.
Yeah, so this week we've got Chvrches with a V, and their wonderful, wonderful, wonderful song named Tether. They're a synth pop band from Glasgow, Scotland, and you're familiar with some of Chvrches' work. I've recently become a fan, but I think this song is excellent. And Darren, why don't you just hit play on Tether?
Where'd you go? You were there by my side. Keep believing it's my turn to hide. In a place where we don't have a prayer. There's a tether that's keeping me there.
All right, so Chvrches, Tether. What a song, eh? Like, is epic the right word to describe this song?
Yeah, it's two songs really. I think. Before we get any further, I really love this song, and I'm a Chvrches fan. I really dig their stuff. I love the synth poppy aspect of it. I love the dream pop beginning of the song. How it's really, really dream poppy. Yeah, I don't have a bad word about this song at all. It's great.
Yeah, I completely agree, and I'm really glad you share that opinion. I thought you would, because this just seems like it's right up your alley. But yeah, from the moment I heard my first Chvrches song, "Clearest Blue," which I think you know that song.
Yep.
Yeah, one of my friends played that for me. Outstanding song, and I immediately listened to their first album,
Right.
the Bones of What You Believe, and fell in love with it all. And this song was a clear standout for me. It's probably one of my most played songs of the year thus far. I just can't get enough of it because it's so detailed and layered and nuanced that almost every time I listen, I find something new to appreciate.
Yeah, the other two Chvrches songs that I know is "Leave a Trace" and "Gun." So those are the other two songs that I'm familiar with, and Tether I'm familiar with. So while I guess I'm a fan, I don't know any of the deep cuts or other than the singles that I've heard, and now Tether.
Yeah, to my understanding, it's a fan favorite, definitely one of the highest rated on the album among fans, but not a ton of commercial success, I guess. Not the most streamed on the album, and it's honestly rare that they even play it live. But I sampled some Chvrches fans on the internet, on Reddit and different blogs,
okay.
and this is always ranked number 1 or 2 from the album.
Right.
So.
I think, and I mentioned earlier that it's kind of two songs, and what I mean by that is the first half of the song is really, really dream poppy, and then at the 3-minute mark, it completely changes into this fantastic groove. And when I was listening to it, as listeners to this podcast know, I like to, figure out where I would listen to a song, whether it's on headphones, driving in my car, late at night, blah, 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 whatever. And so when I originally heard it, I thought this was a headphone song, but it's not. At the 3-minute mark, when that groove hits, it's a car, it's driving in your car, windows open, late at night, on max, just to hear that groove.
Yeah, it really becomes just this maximalist explosion of sound, and it's so deeply layered and meticulously put together that I would listen to this at a club, at a rave, at something like that. Yeah. But yeah, they build it up so well so that when that shift happens, it's believable. It fits within the song, but it just feels like it completely transforms into something new. And I think that's lovely when it's executed as well as it is here.
Yeah. It's nice when a song surprises you. I wasn't expecting that to happen. I thought it was going to be a consistent dream poppy song. So when those happy surprises come in, that's pretty good.
And that's something that I think is pretty emblematic of Chvrches as a whole. All of their music that I've heard, they love a good switch up, or what happens on this song. They do on a lot of different songs to various extents. It's not always as dramatic as this, but their songs feel like they evolve and are living throughout the runtime. It's constantly changing. It's never repetitive. It's just really good stuff. And they're just the song structure they experiment with, the way they write. It's all really cool. And I'm a big fan so far.
So you said you've come to Chvrches recently? Is that what you said?
Yeah, I'm a recent convert to Chvrches. Just a few months ago, I guess, I heard the song "Clearest Blue," and Yeah, I've done a deep dive. Honestly, they're one of those bands that
Right.
has just kind of caught me by storm. They got me by the shoulder and were like, "Listen to me, please. We're so good," and they're right. It's excellent.
And they spell their name a little bit differently. So instead of a U, they spell it with a V. And I think that's probably when you do a search for them on the internet, they're easy to find. There are bands out there like a band that we both like Metric, that are really hard to find their music if you're a brand new listener because their name is so generic, just Metric. There's obviously a lot of websites dedicated to the metric system.
Yes.
So trying to find metric, so I think you have to literally type in metric music to get to see some metric stuff. Yeah, so I think that's probably why they spell their name with the V.
Yeah, well, a lot of the time, not so much now that they've become a bit more mainstream, but the band The National, if I used to search them on Google, it'd be like National Anthem or like National Capital or stuff like
Yeah.
that would pop up, and I'd have to go, no, The National Band for the
Yeah.
real results to come.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's why they went with the V. I think
Yeah.
I remember reading that somewhere. It was just because of the online searches,
Yeah.
which is funny because before the internet, bands would not have to consider
Nope.
their Google ability when naming
No,
themselves.
no, that wasn't a problem. Even the band that we've listened to in this podcast before always spelled with two V's as well. I'm guessing so they can stand out, so they're easy to find on the internet.
Yeah, exactly. And that brings me to another point, which is that this band is very much a full organic product of the internet because they started at a really interesting time when internet and music industry were like really intersecting in a powerful way for the first time. Their song Lies was released on a blog, like their record label's
Oh, okay.
blog, I guess, or they had affiliation with a blog. It was just posted on there, like on Blogspot, and kind of blew up overnight. Like it just got reposted and linked to a bunch of times by other platforms and got a ton of airplay that way. And it happens, I mean, I shouldn't say organically because we don't know if the record label paid people to repost the song. Who knows?
Right, sure.
Probably.
Yeah.
But still, they just blew up fully through the power of internet word of mouth, which is cool. Definitely very cool. And every song they put out online just kept getting more and more plays, more popularity. And so they just released an album with the songs they had recorded. They wanted to like capitalize on the hype at the time. They weren't planning on releasing an album, but they said, all right, here you go. And their debut still is their most critically acclaimed, most successful project to date. So it was really
Right.
just that flash in the pan moment that got them to where they are.
That reminds me, I might be remembering this wrong, but it kind of reminds me of, I think it was probably about 2005, 2006, before I moved to Australia. I was walking around downtown and there was a new band out, and I can't remember the name of the band. And they were handing out t-shirts of the band, like just like a viral marketing sort of thing. And as you got the t-shirt, if you pressed a button on the t-shirt, the song played off the t-shirt. Now, obviously, environmentally, that's horrible because one wash of that shirt and there goes the little chip in there that was playing the song or whatever it was. But I thought that was an interesting marketing sort of thing to get people to listen to the song, giving out free t-shirts. Yeah, that must have happened about 2005, 2006 before I moved to Australia.
Damn. I wonder if that band ever made it anywhere.
Well, apparently not, because I can't remember who they were. So, so I'm going to say no.
Yeah, you know what? That's probably
Yeah.
a good shout. They probably
Yeah.
amounted to nothing, which is too bad. It's cool.
Yeah.
It's cool marketing, I guess. It's
Yeah.
unique.
It is a very unique way to market the thing.
I mean, it's only one step removed from like a guy on this like subway station handing out CDs, but like it's a cooler way of doing that, I guess.
Yeah. So yeah, just have that memory when you were talking about it. I have the memory of them doing the marketing that way, which at the time I thought it was good, but yeah, left no lasting impression on me at all.
Yeah. Very, very gimmicky, I guess you could say. Just like Parlez-vous français.
Yeah. Imagine if it was like a Drake shirt and, that'd be worth like $1 million now, like one of the first Drake shirts with a song on it. And, I just threw it away in the trash because that's where it deserved to be,
Yeah, you said, oh, Drake. Nah, what the hell?
Not the kid from the wheelchair.
Yeah, get this out of my face.
That's right. Yeah.
You just threw away $1 million.
Right? No, this song's been added to my playlist. So thank you for sharing it with me. I really dig it.
Nice. I'm glad. And I honestly, like I said, I really thought you'd like it because this band, Chvrches, they said that Depeche Mode is one of their biggest influences, which I think is pretty apparent.
Yep.
Like that shouldn't come as a surprise.
Yep. Love Depeche Mode. Yep.
Yeah, we've done them on the podcast.
Yep.
But they also listed David Bowie, New Order, Iggy Pop, Sushi and the Banshees, Nick Cave, The Cure, and Brian Eno as massive inspirations for their music. All artists who have featured on the podcast in some way, shape, or form. So I thought this would be a slam dunk.
Have you ever listened to a Brian Eno song?
Yeah, I used to study to his albums.
Okay, it's The Fullness of Wind, where it's like 30 minutes long, and it's quite something, isn't it?
Yeah, he's got that one album, Music for an Airport or something like that.
Yeah, I have that one. Yeah,
I loved putting that. I love putting that on and studying to it. It's really good for that.
He loves his ambient music,
and he actually just, I don't know if you've heard of the DJ Fred again.
Mm-mm.
He's currently like the hottest DJ electronic music producer probably in the world right now. It just blew up over the last year. He just headlined Coachella with Skrillex and Fortet.
Okay.
But he just released an album with Brian Eno last week, which I have to get around to listening. Apparently it's like a really ambient sort of style. So I'm really curious as to how that turned out. But anyway, we'll get to Fred again later.
Is Skrillex still a thing?
Skrillex has had a really cool comeback / resurgence.
Okay.
Yeah,
no idea.
He hasn't really made much music for a while, like last 5-6 years.
Okay.
But he was working with Fred again. He became friends with him. They started working.
Okay.
That got him sort of back in the limelight. And he released 2 albums a couple days apart, all really good. And they've been doing big performances together. They just headlined Coachella together. So Skrillex is having a moment again.
Had no idea Skrillex was the thing again. Okay, cool.
Yeah, cool. Shout out Skrillex. Always been a big fan of Skrillex.
Yeah. Cool.
All right, so Darren, what did you think of Tether by Chvrches?
Yeah, I didn't mind it. It's a nice little song.
Oh, awesome. Wow. I'm glad. I'm really glad you both enjoyed it. Yeah. As I said, I've become a big Chvrches fan, so this will be in my rotation for a while. I'm glad to hear it'll be in yours as well.
Yeah, no, cool song. Before we get to who played it better, I did a poll on Instagram on do people like Australian hip hop? And I'm just going to tell you about the results. 64% of the people said no, they do not like Australian hip hop. So the people have spoken. Australian hip hop is no good. At least 64% of it is no good.
You know what? The fact that 36% of people said yes, it is good. I'm counting that as a resounding win.
That's a win?
Victory.
Okay.
I was expecting like 10% max.
Yeah.
With some of that being my own vote. So 36, I'll take it.
Right.
I completely understand why someone may not like 1/4 or Australian hip hop.
Yeah.
It's not to everyone's taste, but I think it's really good. I think it's cool. And other people agreed with me. 36%.
Yes. Again, for me, it's just the accent. I don't think it lends itself very well to the art form. But hey, that's okay. We're going to get into who played it better. Now, these are 2 songs that you brought to the table. So let's let you talk about them. Yeah.
So this week we've got Something in the Way by Nirvana and Something in the Way by Rufus Du Sol. Now, I first heard Something in the Way when I was sat in the theater watching the new Batman movie, or from last year or 2 years ago, whenever it came out.
Yep.
It features prominently in that. Excellent song. It's just so dark and brooding and so good. But I was walking around Toronto a couple weeks ago and I had like the song radio feature on Apple Music turned on for, actually, funny enough, a Chvrches song, because I wanted to find like more music that sounded like it, whatever. And this remix came up of Something in the Way by Rufus Du Sol. And honestly, I think it's very good. I think it's a good cover, but we'll let you and the people decide. So Darren, why don't you just hit play? First on the Nirvana version.
Don't have any feelings. Something in the way.
right, so that was the original version of Something in the Way, and now Rufus Du Sol.
It's okay, bitch, 'cause it don't have any feeling. Something in the way. Something in the way. Yeah.
All right, so that was Rufus Du Sol covering Something in the Way for Triple J's Like a Version. So, tell me, what did you think? I know Nirvana's a big favorite of yours, this song as well, but did it do it justice?
Boy, Triple J is featuring heavily on the last couple of episodes. Okay, so let me talk about the Rufus Du Sol song first. When it started, again, we talk about nice little surprises in songs. When it started, I thought it was going to be a very typical cover version where the guy starts with the piano and it just sort of, whoever directed this, by the way, for Triple J, kudos to you. It was really well done. And sort of the camera pans up and there's the guy playing the piano. And then the camera sort of pulls back and it reveals some really interesting instrumentals. And then there's a guy, I think there's a guy playing DJ on like a turntable or on the synths, adding some really interesting elements to the song. So I think this is one of the better cover versions that I've heard. One of the better cover versions I've heard on Triple J, Like a Version, by the way, which is very hit and miss for me. But I really, really dug this cover version.
Yeah, I love it. I think it's a fantastic cover, but I'm really happy that you enjoyed it too, because in a lot of ways, this song, I'm sure, is like pretty sacred to you, to a lot of people. It's such a beloved song by such a beloved band.
Yeah.
And honestly, it's pretty ballsy of Rufus Du Sol, I think, to go for it with this.
Yeah.
Especially, Rufus Du Sol is like an electronic music group. They don't make music in the same genre as Nirvana or anywhere near it.
Yeah.
But I think that's what makes the cover so good, is that they really made it their own thing. And some people may hate that there's synths over, a Nirvana track or something that was written by Kurt Cobain. But I think it sounds great. I'm glad you agree. And yes, the direction on the video portion is very excellent.
Yeah. However, I'm still going to go with the Nirvana version. Now, I'm being very careful with my words here because I don't want to romanticize suicide. I don't. And what happened to what Kurt Cobain did to himself. But there is a hurt. There's a melancholy in the Nirvana song that I really appreciate and that I think is very well done and very eerie. So I'm gonna vote personally for the Nirvana song.
I think I also have to pick the Nirvana one. I like it better for sure. It has some qualities that are really hard to describe in terms of what makes it so good and so haunting and just sticks with you and gives you shivers down your spine. At least that's the effect that Something in the Way has for me. I think it's really that good.
Yeah.
But Rufus Du Sol deserve their flowers because
it was good. It's a really good cover.
It's a really, really good cover and creative as well, which again, as you said when it started, I also thought it was going to be just a paint by the numbers cover, nothing crazy or interesting, but they did a good job.
Yeah.
But
and in that Batman song, I'm glad that song was been made popular again for that Batman movie, because it's really well placed in the movie and it really sets the tone for the movie as well. So I'm really glad. I can't remember the name of the director who directed Batman. Is it Matt
Reeves? Matt Reeves.
There he goes. He did a really good job picking that song, and I think that's how we saw his Batman really broody and moody. Like, obviously, Batman is brooding. That's his whole shtick. But really, really brooding and moody. I thought that was really, really well done. And I'm glad that the song is coming to a brand new audience from that movie.
It absolutely is. Yeah, it's damn near a TikTok song at this point, or at least it was when the movie came out, which may make you cringe, but at least people are listening to it that otherwise wouldn't. So,
it's so sad that TikTok only gives you like a few seconds of the song though, because it's in its entirety, it's such a gloomy, beautiful melancholy song that it's a shame that you only get a few seconds on TikTok. But please, if you've listened to it on TikTok, or if you listen to the song on Batman, please go and listen to the full version of it. It is an amazing track.
It is. And Darren, what did you think of this week's Who Played It Better? What's your vote?
I've got to go with the original, just always.
Yeah, I predicted a clean sweep, but good for Rufus.
It's hard to beat a Stone Cold classic like that. And Rufus, well done. You did a great job. It was close in my books, but I'll still give it to Nirvana.
Yeah, absolutely. Same here.
What are your plans for the rest of the week, gentlemen?
Well, now that school's out, I'm just working a lot and trying to have fun and explore the new city, and just have a summer in Toronto and everything that comes with that. So
starting to warm up.
Yeah, it's starting to warm up. The weather's getting nice. I'm putting together a master list of all the patios and happy hours in my area. So
nice.
We'll be exploring some of that, I think.
And how about you, Darren? What do you got going on?
Nothing exciting, just the day job.
I just got back from a town called Chinchilla, which is in not western Queensland, but 4 hours west of Brisbane, at least. Queensland is a very, very big place. Western Queensland is very west. And it was minus 4 degrees at one point when I was in Chinchilla. So that was pretty cool. I did enjoy the cool weather compared to the usual 40 degrees. Chinchilla runs really hot and it runs really, really cold. So it was kind of cool to get a little bit of cool weather.
So you had to break out the windbreaker?
I did. I had a sweater on. It was amazing. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. My coworkers weren't happy at all. I was there with 3 other Australians. 2 Australians and 1 Dutch, and they weren't happy, but I was loving the weather.
Nice. Well, yeah. I'm glad you enjoyed.
Yeah. All right. What song do you have for me for next week?
All right. As I said, the weather's getting nicer. I'm getting that fever to go have fun and be a young adult in my 20s. And with that comes a lot of dancing. And one of my favorite artists is a DJ, goes by the name Chvrches. His music always feels perfect for summer and this type of vibe for me. So we're going to listen to the song Intimidated featuring Her, the artist Her, by Chvrches.
Cool. Looking forward to that. And you're going to listen to a band called Wet Leg and a song called Che Longe. So we're going with a little bit more French here. So Chase Longe is basically the song you're going to listen to.
Excellent. Let's go.
Yeah. Now our independent artist. This week we're going to listen to Natasha Rose. And she is just starting off her musical career. So this is her brand new debut single of her career. And it's called Line to Love. I've worked with Natasha Rose in the past. I photographed her, and she's a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful person. And so we're very happy to play her brand new song on the podcast. Now, I asked her what the song was about, and this is what she says. It's about being in a relationship that is no longer genuine and has lost all its feeling, passion. So by staying in it, you're lying to love. So thank you, Natasha, for letting us play your song. And this is Lying to Love. We'll talk to you guys next week.
Why I'm coming over when my feelings ain't true. I never thought that we would lose the spark, but it seems that we have fallen apart. Don't get all flustered when I hear your name. Guess all of my butterflies are flowing away. I should tell you that it's over until what's right, but I find myself at your place every night. I was so determined I could convince myself you're the one. But deep down I know when I'm with you, baby, I'm lying to love. Every time I lie with you, baby, I'm lying to love. I lie with you, but baby, I'm lying to love. I keep pretending what we have is true, but I'm always faking it when I'm with you. There's no electricity when we touch, so what's the point of touching so much? I've had this feeling now for far too long. If time I lie with you, baby, I'm lying to love. I lie with you, but baby, I'm lying to love. Oh, I'm lying to love. In your bed with nothing in my head, no feeling in my heart. In your bed with nothing in my head, no feeling in my heart. No, in your bed with nothing in my head, no feeling in my heart. In your bed with nothing in my head, no feeling in my heart. Every time I lie with you, baby, I'm lying to love. I lie with you, but baby, I'm lying to love.
You've been listening to Just Hit Play. To contact your hosts, Peter and Nick, or to be featured on an episode as musical talent, email justhitplay7300@gmail.com. Keep up to date with news and announcements by following on Instagram and Facebook, linked in the show notes. Subscribe on your favourite podcatcher to tune in next week for more sonic delights. And if you can't wait till then, check out the Just Hit playlist on Spotify, linked in the show notes. A special thanks to Braden Munch for the theme song, and thank you for listening.